Now, I'm gonna be adding questions or answering questions from the active QLA mentees. I was somewhat surprised of all the ones that we contacted. Only 70% responded positively, that a little over 70%, that they would be interested in giving me questions and or just participating and being able to listen to what i.e. we're doing. My educated guess is probably as good as anybody's on the planet, notwithstanding my successful track record of calling so many things that happen and come to fruition. But I get no joy out of being right about the tsunami. I said it the first day of the shutdown seminar that we had here a few weeks ago. I get no joy of being correct, because I know it's displaced a lot of human beings. A lot of people will never recover from it. It's going to be bankruptcies. It's going to be awful things. People are going to go without food. That's just life. That's part of life. But I said, if I had to wish for three things from Allah, I would have wished for Trump as president. We got that, right? I would have wished for low interest rates. We got that. And I would wish for a calamity of chaos, that from chaos comes order, and by Allah's will, we fucking got that. This is the perfect motherfucking time. I've lived through one of these. I know what I'm talking about. We went the fastest growing energy company during the great oil decline of the early mid-'80s by accident. I was always looking for money and I was always looking for deals, and we were one of the only energy companies that had plenty of money for CapEx, plenty of money for exploration. And that's when I enlisted the Mexican government, the Japanese government, the Kuwaiti government, to name three, to be a benefactor, so to speak. But I just kept on buying deals, and by the grace of God, the biggest deal that I made in those days was right at the bottom of the market, before the market turned. At $8 oil, oil went down to about $6 and then rebounded up to 14, 18, 20, 24. Now this is 35 years ago, or 30 plus years ago, and you got to keep buying. There's a saying in the drilling business, the oil business: we're going to drill our way out of this motherfucker. Let's rotate to the right. Rotate to the right means that's the way the drill bit goes, to the right. And all I can tell you is just keep pulling the trigger. And I hadn't figured out seller finance like I know it now back in the day. If I had understood seller finance better back in the day, I would have made 5 times more acquisitions, is an exaggeration. But I at least would have made 2 or 3 times more acquisitions. And that's how I took $800 and turned it into about $500 million. You got the opportunity here, kids. Everything I answered, I'm about to answer now, is directly or indirectly answered on YouTube or during the seminar or on one of the slides or one of the templates. Contrary to what some people think, as I said at the one-day seminar on January 18th, earlier this year, even the templates are online if you look hard enough. It's quite remarkable. This is our time. If we don't take advantage of this, you know, as I've asked many times, what are you going to tell your kids and grandkids 20, 25 years from now that you did before it was the greatest transformation of wealth since World War II, arguably in the history of the world. But now it's the greatest dislocation of wealth. It's not a transformation, it's a dislocation. And you are poised. Now, everybody that is getting the answers to these questions I'm about to do has been to the seminar. Some of you have been to the seminar more than once. You know, some of you have been to the seminar 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Some of you that are going to listen to the answer to these questions have been to the hardcore. but all of you have been privy to the seminar in one form or another. And you've had access to, slides and the library on my site. This is the time to use it. You got more downtime now. You got more downtime because you can't travel, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go to the show, you can't go out to dinner, etc., etc. I've already said sarcastically, I've gained 5 pounds during the lockdown so far because I'm eating more and drinking more. And even though I'm working out more in the gym, I obviously am eating more than I'm working out. But you got time to hone your skills. People are taking Zoom calls and Skype calls that never would have answered your calls before because they have no other alternative. Remember, and I told you, when you're getting through the secretaries, the people that are guarding these potential owners, which are potential sellers to you, you are calling them about a potential joint venture. And that's how you get past the guard keepers of these guys. You will kick yourself to death if you don't take advantage of it. Some of you kids are already taking advantage of it. The fact that we have acquisitions closing since the corona thing started and since the lockdown started, more or less the worldwide lockdown, we've had deals closed. And virtually all the deals, with save one or two, have renegotiated the prices or made part of the prices that they're willing to pay contingent on what the business does going down the road. That's the only way you can do this, and that way you can suck this potential seller into the vortex where they feel that they're going to somehow get part of the upside, and they're falling for it. And I don't mean that you're conning them. They are they're all afraid. Most of you that are going to listen to this are afraid, but that's what separates you from the other guys. The fact that you have some, and even though I say there's no real special sauce, the fact that you have access to me directly or indirectly, that is a special sauce that a lot of the kids don't have because they haven't been to the seminar. But you should benefit from the seminar and the money you paid. I feel a responsibility. I don't know if it's a moral responsibility, but I feel a responsibility to help you guys more than I help all the others. Although I'm convinced now, from Brian Culet-Rose, from Bruce Whipple, from Dan Locke, amongst others, that I, have touched millions of people, and that I know pretty matter-of-factly that we've created at least a million millionaires, which is $1 trillion, and we've created a lot more with the $500 billion deal, NEOM, and et cetera, et cetera. So you have access to this. Now, if you go, and God forbid lockdown lasts till, let's say, September, and you haven't taken that time, the effort, made the effort, the sacrifice to move this forward, I mean, you deserve what you're going to get. And you'll get fuck all because you didn't put this stuff in the practice. I remember very, very vividly me sitting at this desk, in this room, in this castle, on this 156-acre estate during the collapse, and never leaving here, except for meetings occasionally. We had meetings here during those years. But you will just pound yourself to death for not taking advantage. Now, whether we do another Q&A, I'm not sure. I'm going to see what I see the results of this Q&A. We're working on something special. We haven't figured out the title for it. I said sarcastically, with a COVID-19 mercy fuck present to everybody, not just you, but everybody that follows Creative. But we're still working on it, and that will come out in the weeks to come. Ideally, we have a seminar supposedly for early June planned, but I doubtfully it will happen. Although we're set up, if they increase the spacing from 2 to 50 again. We can, because we're situated here, we can sleep 24, 25 people individually. We can feed them at the table separated, and we can have them seated separately. I personally like having the seminar in the pavilion. It keeps all you fucking meatheads out of the castle so you don't steal the silver. I say tongue in cheek. So I'm doubtful that the June seminar will happen. Hopeful, but I don't think it'll happen. And then if it doesn't happen, then we're hopeful that July will happen. But there may not be any seminars for 6 months. Okay, and so we're going to have to come up with creative ways to produce content that is meaningful for you guys and gals to watch. I say again, healthcare and IT, you stay along, because one of the things that's going to be a benefactor of this, other than people are going to be more interested in their health, is that the people are going to be more internet oriented. They're going to be internet oriented, and so, but you can short everything else. Don't be trying to pick the bottom of the market. Start the negotiation now. And remember, due diligence is a euphemism for knocking the price down. Now, one of the questions that I wasn't asked by you fucking, although I've gone through the question, I'm going to answer. Now, nobody asked me in the questions I'm about to answer, because I've gone through them at least 4 or 5 times, is how do we perform due diligence during the lockdown? That's a good fucking question, and not one of you cocksuckers asked me. Not one of you. But this is going to be a time that due diligence can still take place, but maybe only one person, and separation, but you can't fly. I mean, it adds another layer. But I'm not telling you to buy asset side of the scene. This is a time to use your 150, 200, 250 years of experience from your board. This is the time that you ride these guys in the estimate. And I'm on a few boards, and I see how they react, and they're pretty fucking smart. If you ask them. If you don't ask them, they're not so smart. Or at least you can't see how smart they are because you haven't asked. But this is affecting all of us. I'm not, the rumors of me coming back into the acquisition business are highly exaggerated. I have no intention of that. Again, I'm thinking, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be investing in the stock market or anything like that. I'm saddened that I wasn't able to attend the Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway board annual meeting in a few weeks. I'll be in Boston with a little Berkshire Hathaway stock, so we can be in attendance. I'm wishing him good health so he can do it again in 2021. But okay, now listen carefully to the questions, and I look forward to seeing you, as they say, on the other side. Let's get started. Thanks. So here we go. I've got 2 healthcare deals in due diligence, but we haven't yet completed. Should I renegotiate the price? If so, when? I'm going to make a few comments based on this one question. Number one, as I pointed out in the most recent tapes of the seminar and on YouTube, which have been published on YouTube, all deals since not just Corona started, but actually this year are probably worth between 25 and 50% less because it's a new world, a new environment, and some of the deals are worth nothing. And a few of the deals, a small percentage of the deals, are actually basically you to take them off the market. So the answer is yes, you should renegotiate the price, and when we get on to answering it, how do we value them? They value them differently because they're probably, if you look at the last 30 days, they're probably delivering more cash. But we'll get into those questions as we go. Lots of companies are going through a distress of financial turmoil. Who do you approach for capital to establish a buyout turnaround fund that we can acquire these businesses? You're not, okay? Any buyout turnaround fund is already in existence, or if they're going to start a buyout turnaround fund, they don't need you, okay? And whether you can acquire them for pennies on the dollar is questionable. But if you don't have a qualified board, and the person that asked this question, who attended the seminar 2 or 3 years ago, should know better than this. But there's a lot of disruption, but everything's worth less.